Good morning and welcome to the Big Agent Meeting. I'm Ian Wheatley in for Russ Lagan from KGCI Real Estate on Air. Today is not going to be some hype call. Today we're going to be talking about what sits at the very center of almost every single agent conversation. The conversation around leads, conversion, and performance. Because most agents think that they need more leads. But what if what you actually need is better filtering, better conversations, and generally speaking, just better execution? So today we're going to unpack it from all those different angles. And it starts with a corner office conversation with the CEO himself, Leo Pareja, who brought in Allison Greco on his recent Real Estate Success Stories podcast. And the theme here, it's all about process mastery over lead volume, because Allison scaled her business to over 320 units a year, not by chasing more leads, but by obsessing over conversion. And she talks about a pause and convert system that she built, where she slows down, she mastered the fundamentals, and she treats conversation like the skill and asset that it actually is. And it's accountability and resilience in a culture where conversion is the metric that matters. So here's the uncomfortable question, though, that leads us to. If you doubled your conversion rate today, would you still need those additional leads? Drop that in the chat over in eXp World or here in the comments on the eXp Realty YouTube channel, because more volume doesn't fix weak fundamentals. Mastery does that.
The gift and the curse of this business is no one tells you what to do, right? So how, as a brand new agent, part-time agent, did you ascertain which were those tasks? Were you using a coaching program, YouTube? Like where was this knowledge coming from?
So I was at a very small boutique brokerage. And I remember I would be the first person to come in, and then I'd be the last person to leave, even though I was working another job in the middle, right? But I was kind of forced to be that person. I listened more than I spoke. I have 2 ears and one mouth for a reason. And I tried to absorb as much information as I could. I remember week 2, I was so frustrated because I had nobody telling me what to do. And I literally picked up a phone book. And I thought, well, I'm going to start on A. I'm just going to start on A and start calling, because people aren't walking in the door. I was the person that thought, I got my real estate license, I have done it, I have arrived, and I'm going to sell the houses. And I did. I actually did start on A, and I started calling in the phone book. And then I got a 3-ring binder and I divided it A to Z. I did not know what a CRM was. And I started doing an A to Z kind of filing cabinet. And then I had this brilliant idea that, gosh, these listings are expiring. Like, these people wanted to sell their house and they couldn't. So they're kind of hand raisers. If I could tell you now, I wish I would have gone on YouTube. I wish I would have been exposed faster. I wish I would have done all of those things. But Leo, if I'm being honest, like, I'm so happy and glad that I learned the way I did, because I learned through challenges. Agents that want more and more and more leads, they tend to fail. So I've got some stats, and I've looked at like our top agent conversion on, we're a Zillow Flex team. And what's really interesting is that the agents that say, hey, they come to us, we have kind of trained this behavior, I need to be paused. I've taken 5 leads.
We were on our mastermind yesterday, and that was one of the topics, right? It's, you got to make sure to pause so you can consume the leads.
Yep. And so we looked, my director of operations before this call too, we really like honed in and said, okay, I need to understand this from like an all-time, who are these agents? What are they looking at? And our top agents also tend to be our top agents on our team, right? And it's funny because a very small percentage of their business is actually that Zillow Flex. But they are the top converters. And we're talking like all-time 35% conversion rates, all-time 27% conversion rates. I mean, these are big numbers. And every time you go back to abundance mindset, every time we go back to what are our core values, open and honest communication, accountability, right? Like being abundantly, like have an abundance mindset around, I have enough now Let's look at everybody else, make sure that we're being fair and dispersing. Let's reach down and see how we can help others while also focusing on our business. It just grows and grows. And the second that they realize I don't need more, I have more than enough, I need to go back and service that client. I need to go back and figure out, like, we do LTP Mama and making sure that everything is done and the conversations are deep. It's the people that understand the basics at the highest level and they understand the process at the highest level that win. But the biggest thing was you get 5 leads, you are paused. And not just Zillow or PPC, just 5 leads, you are paused. And we need to hear, how did the call go? What did you learn? Did you set an appointment? And some of them we understand, 5 leads, maybe not converting immediately, right? But we needed to understand what was going on with those leads. And they have to convert one of them before they get another. And what it also forced them to do was, we're not giving you 5 more leads because you haven't converted one. So now what are their options? Go lead gen. Go lead gen. You don't need the team to give you the business at all times. So we started seeing open houses going up, right? Are people saying not who can host this open house? It was, what open house can I host? We started seeing them getting more involved in the community. Expireds and cancels and for sale by owners were being called. And so all of a sudden, instead of us just giving, it was, oh, I have to convert before they're going to open me up to 5 more. And so it was 5, pause, you must convert. Another 5, pause, you must convert.
If you want more of that episode of Real Estate Success Stories, you can check it out right here on the eXp Realty YouTube channel. And if we take that at what it's worth, if conversion is the standard, let's talk about that pipeline quality a little bit. We've got an Agent Advantage segment with Donnie Crouch from Realty.com, which is all focused on seller leads, but not just more leads, right? It's about control. It's about filtering, customizing the type of seller opportunities that enter your pipeline. And the folks over at Realty.com are going to walk you through lead capture, seller intent, and the customization to your business, because discipline starts before the conversation ever happens.
Hey everyone, this is Donnie Crouch here, Vice President of Sales with Realty.com. First and foremost, I want to thank eXp for hosting today and for being a partner of Realty.com. We've had the pleasure of working with many agents over the last several years and helping them grow their businesses. Now, in working with as many agents as we have, there seems to be a common issue, which is filling your pipeline with consistent, high quality, high converting seller leads. Now, if you're anything like me, I am a realtor myself. I've worked with many different lead providers and generated my own leads in the past. One of the largest issues I ran into was, again, sifting through the junk to find exactly what my business needs, whether that's a particular price point, a specific property type, or anything in between. And so as a result, we've heard all of those, all of the feedback from our agents. We have built the Realty.com seller program. Now, what the seller program is, first and foremost, every single seller lead that we provide is going to be title verified. So we're utilizing our backend data to ensure that the consumer that fills out the information matches the title of the property. That's first and foremost. Now, from there, that consumer's journey to become captured as a lead is going through a long form questionnaire, meaning we're not just gathering name, phone number, and email. We're gathering key information such as their motivation for selling, their time frame for when they want to sell, how much they want for the property, among many, many other key pieces of info. Now, we give that control back to you, the agent. No longer do you have to take everything that comes through and sift through it. You tell us exactly what you want. So that could be, I only want sellers within these particular zip codes that are looking to sell within 6 months, have a certain price point or a certain motivation for selling, essentially allowing you to weed out a number of those looky-loos and getting right to the people that have motivation to sell their property. Now, in addition to this, guys, there is no contract to this whatsoever. It is all month to month, no referral fees, no setup fees, includes an ISA support as well as dedicated coaching to help you maximize the seller leads that you generate for your business. So right now, guys, you can go to realty.com/EXP, fill out your information there, and our team will get you all the information on the seller lead program and how you can ultimately leverage that tool to feed more listings to you and your business. Thank you.
Better input creates better opportunity. If you are serious about conversion, you have to be intentional about what enters your world, and filtering can be that leverage. Now, the question becomes, are you prepared to convert what you're receiving? You do that better by sharpening the skill behind the opportunity, because better leads don't just close themselves. It's the skill that compounds. It's the execution that compounds. So if you're not actively sharpening your seller consultations, your pricing conversations, objection handling, having a stronger follow-up cadence, then the filtering and the customization won't save you. But eXp University can, and they exist to reinforce mastery, not theory. It's all application. So here's Alyssa Specht to take a look at how eXp University is here to help you in that in the week ahead.
What's up, big agent meeting? Alyssa Specht here, back with your eXp University Spotlight. But before we do that, I want to talk about something. Let's talk about the gap between big goals and daily execution. You know the one. The gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it consistently. So this next week at eXpU, we are going to close that gap. So let's take a look at everything coming up this week, starting with Monday on Level Up. So guys, if you keep starting strong, but then stopping, if rejection knocks you off your rhythm, if your schedule feels reactive instead of intentional, we've got Coach B and Aubrey Walters ready to bring the reset. This is a nervous system-centered masterclass built for long-term production. So we're going to be talking about reframing the fear of rejection. We're going to be talking about time blocking, about mastering consistency as a skill. So guys, join us for Monday for Level Up. Now let's take a look over to Thursday with another executive masterclass. Now, if you're looking to grow, but you don't want to lose your life, lose your schedule in the process, then Frank Panuto's got the solution for you. He's going to be talking about human-centered growth, about real attraction conversations, and how to scale all of that while still protecting your life and your schedule. So tune in on Thursday's Executive Masterclass. Now let's take a look over to Friday. We are back with another big agent meeting. You already know the drill, but let me talk about this here. If you're generating leads, but you're feeling the pressure of that volume, we have got just the person for you. We've got a high volume team leader, Justin Core, who's going to join Chief Learning Officer, Mr. Brian Ellington, and talk about rotation systems, week on and week off structure, and high production without that burnout. So tune in for another big agent meeting. But we're not done with Friday yet. We are back in the lab with the Lab podcast. Now, this time we're talking about conversion. We're talking about conversations that might not be converting, about appointments being inconsistent. So we brought in John Foster to help sharpen the blade here. He's going to bring you 3-minute ALM scripts. He's going to talk about conversation frameworks. Guys, we're turning meetings into appointments and appointments into contracts. Tune in on Friday for the Lab podcast. All right, guys, I hope to see you there. Make sure you block your calendar, tag your team, and I will see you there.
And there you go, eXp University trainer Alyssa Specht. You want to find out more about eXp University and what they got coming down the pike? That's all at eXpUniversity.com. So if mastery is the differentiator, what you now need is reinforcement. And the all-new KGCI Real Estate On Air website is live for you at realestateonair.fm. And at the core of it all is what we're calling the Vault. This is nearly 2,800 curated business building conversations, all searchable, all organized, and all built for your ease of execution. You need a listing strategy, just search listings. You want a follow-up system, search follow-up. And if you need a mindset recalibration, all you gotta do is just search mindset, right? This is not passive content for you. This is your on-demand business development library. And all you have to do, head on over to realestateonair.fm, click the Vault, and get the answer to the problem in your business this week. Now, let's lift the energy a little bit, because what we know is true is that skills compound in proximity, and proximity is community, and the core of community Yeah, that's built at events, my friend. And next week, eXpCON is headed to Cape Town, South Africa. It is the drumbeat of eXp Realty's international expansion. And I want to know, if you're heading out that way, I'd love to know your why. Drop it in the comments on YouTube or drop it in the chat in eXp World. And the eXpCON team, they are showing us some love this Valentine's Day because eXpCON Vancouver is right around the corner coming up in April. We've got in October, eXpCON Salt Lake. And this weekend of love, you can take an extra $50 off your eXpCON registration. All you got to do, use the code EXPLOVE50 at checkout. You can scan the code and register now for eXpCON Vancouver. And you can use that code too if you're going to be joining me in Salt Lake City this October. Now, what I want to do is I want to see you out at these events, because these events are accelerators, because you get the exposure to higher level thinking, the alignment with leadership, and the momentum that you just cannot replicate virtually. So if you're serious about leveling up this year, proximity matters and those events matter. You can just find out more over at eXpCON.com as well. Now, we've got some nitty gritty nuts and bolts to get into here on the Big Agent Meeting. There are some new FinCEN reporting requirements that are going to be taking effect March 1st, and that impacts some certain non-finance residential transactions, particularly involving entities or trusts. Now, this is some federal compliance stuff we're talking about now, and no one is expecting you, the real estate agent, to be some compliance officer, but what you do need to understand is how this could impact timelines and expectations of your clients. So to walk you through what you need to know, we bring in the Chief Brokerage Officer. Here is Holly Mabery with today's Brokerage Brief.
Well, we're middle of February, and we know that the rules and regulations throughout the industry continue to evolve. One that I've told you already about is the FinCEN update. And I want to make sure that I'm reminding you all, because some of you have cash transactions that are going to be closing. This is what's so key about this. It's anti-money laundering. And this is a new rule that's coming into play that we all need to be aware of and take action with our clients. And so I want to give you a few things to be proactive, because you still have time between now and the end of the month, particularly if you have a cash transaction in a residential property that's closing after March 1st. So starting March 1st, of course, certain professionals will have to disclose what's going on as far as the closing and submit reports to FinCEN regarding non-finance transfers. Okay, let's break it down. What do you need to do and when, and how to take action? So one, the property absolutely must be residential. You could have a fourplex, you could have a duplex, you could have a single family home, even a condo. That's the key in all of this. It has to be residential. And the transfer is non-financed. So cash is key, cryptocurrency, anything along those lines. And the property is transferred to a certain type of entity or trust, LLC, something along those lines. And there are certain exemptions that don't apply. So this is a big, scary kind of like graphic that FinCEN has given us, but this is kind of like, okay, does the reportable transfer involve? And it gives you all of these things, and if not, what to do. So let's break it down to where it's easier for you and I to rate. When the transfer does not meet the criteria for reportable, if it's a grant or a transfer, revocation of an easement, okay, I live rurally. Easements are very common, and maybe I'm buying the property next to me, and the easement between us was originally part of the property, my big property. I'm taking that back. Cool. Don't need to worry about that. If somebody passes away, okay, and it's being transferred to their heirs, okay, that doesn't need to be disclosed. Incidental to a divorce or dissolution, okay, that happens. Again, that's a non-cash, non-finance transfer, but it doesn't have to be disclosed to the federal government. Is supervised by a court, maybe the court's forcing a sale, bankruptcy, things of that nature. Okay, great. Now, if there's no consideration made to an individual, either alone or with their spouse, so basically I'm moving this into a trust that my family it's the Holly Mabery Family Trust. Okay. That's a non-cash sale. It's my house. That doesn't have to be reported to the government. It's made to a qualified intermediary. This would be if I'm doing a 1031 exchange, maybe on a rental property, or in a purchase, something along those lines. doesn't have to be disclosed because I've got the intermediary as part of all of it. Or if it does not have to have a reporting person. Now, let's take the example of you're closing the first part of March and it's an all cash sale. What action do you take? Maybe you've not done anything yet. First thing I want you to do is call your title company or your settlement agent, confirm that they are on track for the FinCEN disclosure, and just ask for the process. It's a really good idea to do this in writing, utilizing email. Then I want you to notify all parties. Notify your buyers if you're representing them, notify your seller, and just basically say, hey, they'll have to identify the beneficial ownership information. Not a big deal. They just have to have like their driver's license, their LLC information. And then you want to document all your communication. And this is where I love a good email. Put that in your transaction file. Upload that to SkySlope. It just helps you be better prepared of, hey, I was on point. I did all of the things. Now, if you are closing with a title company or settlement agent, they're taking care of the reporting. But if you are not, then guess what? You are. And so this is where it gets a little bit tricky. As a real estate agent, you must file a report by the last day of the month following the closing or 30 calendar days after the closing, whichever is sooner. But if you're using a title company or a settlement agent, you don't have to. So there's a lot of carve outs to all of this. But what's so important for you and I as trusted advisors in the transaction is just to make people aware of what to expect, how to expect it, and why they're being asked for maybe more paperwork as they go to close. Anytime a buyer right now is showing up, they're having to give their license, they're having to give their ownership interest, their trust documents, or their LLC information. It becomes really important that you and I are communicating that up front. So as a result, this is a link or basically a QR code for you to scan and get more information regarding FinCEN. You go to fincen.gov and it will tell you all the additional information. And this is what I'll say. Share it with your clients. If you've got a lot of clients who are sitting on properties that they are likely to sell or do 1031 exchange or whatever, maybe they haven't bought or sold in a while. And this is a great opportunity for you to show up, be that trusted advisor, and share with them what's going on in the market, what they should know, and how they can depend on you for support. I love bringing this stuff to you. I love helping you build your business. And at the end of the day, being that trusted advisor. We'll see you guys soon.
I think it's because of Holly Mabery that I never panic, but that was certainly my key takeaway there. But the other one is to be proactive. If you have a deal that's involving cash, entities, or trust structures, elevate that thing early. All right. Loop in the broker team, loop in the closing team, because clarity beats reaction each and every time. So let's zoom out, because today on the Big Agent Meeting, it was certainly not random. It was intentional, right? It was a conversation about conversions over volume, about filtering seller opportunities, about sharpening our skills, about the on-demand reinforcement, proximity to excellence, compliance awareness. It all boiled down to better leads, better conversations, and better conversion, because that is the real estate business right there. So what was your takeaway? Drop it in the comments or scan the code coming up on your screen right now to give this show a rating and let us know what you want to see coming up on the Big Agent Meeting. Again, I'm Ian Wheatley from KGCI Real Estate On Air. Join us right now for this week's Friday Focus. Today, we are going deep on how top producers are using social media to become the digital authority in their space, whether it's using data and market stats to actually win or showcasing what's to love about your community. These are the industry-tested strategies and tactics that you could use to pop with authority regardless of your style. And that's all happening at realestateonair.fm or on that always free Real Estate On Air mobile app for iPhone and Android. Just search KGCI. Russ Lagan's going to be back in the seat for the Big Agent Meeting next week, and iConversations is coming up next.